Sorry, I had to boom or something just so everybody would know it's me. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, and I want to welcome you to episode 17 of Unscripted, entitled There's Something About Gwen. I want to thank everyone who's already in the chat. We have Lady Mist and D. Penzak. As usual, please feel free to hit the like, share out the stream, say hello in the comments. And if you're new to the channel and you have not yet subscribed, now is the perfect time to do so. All right. Blam, you boomer fight it. Yep. I'm getting used to the StreamYards thing, folks. Wait until I start simulcasting on Rumble. That's going to be even more fun. So yeah, interesting week. I am currently working two jobs. One that's giving me hours and one that isn't. So that's kind of interesting. I want to say hello to Big Al Presents. I joined Big Al along with soundtracks with Birdman Friday evening for Films with Friends, and we watched The Sword and the Sorcerer. Cheesy, fun. This is a good show. It was a fun show. So if you ever get a chance, if you did not watch it on Friday night, please go back and watch the show. We have the lovely Sherry, aka Stabby Sherry. Do not stab anyone yet. Not yet. I will give you the word when it is time to stab someone. All righty. All right. Now, some of you have an idea of what tonight's show is about. Wonderful, tasty brie. Yeah, it was. And now, some of you have probably figured out kind of what the show is going to be about. But it's going to be about a little bit more than that. Now, some of you know that I have had a real issue of late with how certain films are marketed to the general public. I think one problem for sure is that people don't see trailers anymore. If they see trailers, they'll see it, the 20 minutes of trailers that come at the beginning of a movie. Or maybe they might catch a trailer here on YouTube, which is where I see a lot of trailers. But, for the most part, you'll bring up a movie and somebody will say, I didn't see a trailer for that. What's that? Is it a show? Is it streaming? What is it? And I find myself asking that question from time to time as well. Now, some of these Hollywood studios, they will spend up to $100 million, 100 million, mind you, on advertising. Well, I don't know where that money goes because you have people who, like I said, say they haven't seen the trailers. They've never heard of these movies. Now, obviously, that's a problem. And I feel more sorry for the independent films that don't have the money for advertising. The films that I think really kind of deserve, to have that kind of money pushing their movie forward. But, if any of you are like me, you watch a lot of the same YouTube shows that I do, and you hear all of the independent filmmakers who come on to the shows that we watch, who come onto the channels that we watch and say, this is how I am advertising my movie, and it's word of mouth, that will get my movie out there. Now you have, these big budget films that are backed by the big studios that, like I said, spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year on advertising films, and people don't get the message about those films. So I see it as you have to be very careful about where and how you advertise a movie. And then the advertising for Spiderverse happened. Now, I saw the first movie. I saw it in theaters. And while I had some issues with it, for the most part, I liked it, honestly, and I recommended it, and it won the Oscar for animated feature, and I had no problem with that. But now we're in a different age. We have what's not only agenda-based filmmaking, you have agenda-based advertising. And I first really noticed it with the Eternals. Because to this day, no one has ever been able to explain to me what the plot of that film is. It's like, The Eternals coming to you next from Marvel. Great. Who's in it? Well, we have a diverse cast. Okay. Anybody I've heard of? Well, we have a non-binary character. Great. And what is the plot? Okay, no, you know what? Let's forget about plot for a minute. I'm assuming that they're all superheroes. Who is the villain, and what is his goal? His or her goal, And it's like, well, this movie is going to save lives. It's a triumph, and I'm like, you're still not telling me, but you're not selling me on this movie. You have a diverse cast. Great. A lot of movies have diverse casts. Most of them do. It's never been a big deal. What is up with this? The Eternals, what a joke. I never saw it. I didn't bother. Because this was a movie that was not advertised. The agenda behind the movie was advertised. And I started to see this pop up in other TV shows and other movies where, okay, let's take, for example, Rings of Power. We're going to it's going to take place at a time that before the Lord of the Rings. Okay, perfectly fine, great. Who are the characters? What's the plot? And welcome, Jack Lumen. Good to see you. And again, with the Rings of Power, much like with the Eternals, I was asking, okay, who are the characters involved? And it's like, we're not talking about Gwen at the moment. I'm working my way up to talking about Gwen. Now, like I said, with Rings of Power, it's like, okay, what is, okay, who are the characters involved? And they're like, well, our cast is really diverse, and then, what's the plot? Is we're going to save lives. And I'm like, we've been over this, and you're doing it again. We are you're advertising your show based on the skin color of your cast, you know. And then this other thing started to happen, which is mouse destroyed a 4-olds in effect, apparently. Anyway, the thing is, this other thing started to happen where it was like, well, what you had these actors come out and do these interviews where they don't talk about what the show is about or who their characters are or what their character's about. What they come out and talk about is, well, the studio warned me, about, racist fans, and there's going to be this backlash, and they did this on Rings of Power, and they did this with Kenobi with the Reva character, Moses Ingram, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like, if you're going to accuse people of that, then I want to see receipts. If you are getting death threats, where are these threats? Produce them. You know who's going to be the first people who are going to come to your defense? Us. The fans. We will defend you if that shit is happening. Because I'll tell you something. We don't care, about the diversity of the cast or anything like that. Just make something good. We'll watch it. It'll be fine. But they don't do that. They use this identity agenda politics to advertise their programming. And all this girl boss stuff and whatnot. The reason we're not watching is not because the lead character is a woman or you have black characters, you have Asian characters. We're not watching them because you're not making these shows interesting enough for us to bother to watch it. And when we don't, you call us cysts and phobes. And that's not going to work. And you're going to lose money because of that. And they haven't seemed to figure that out yet. I think Disney's going to pretty soon. Because when their stocks hit $80 per share, and they're getting close to that right now, some heads are going to roll. Now, like I said, I saw the first Spiderverse movie, and I liked it for what it was. It's not a perfect movie, and I had issues when it came to the cinematography and some of the animation style. And there were some things here and there story-wise that didn't work for me. But, like I said, for the most part, it was a movie I would recommend. So when they, said, hey, there's going to be a sequel, I was one of the people who was actually said, okay, this could be fun. It could be good. The first movie was good. If it's as good as the first movie, I'm fine with it. Then that first trailer happened. And we saw the BLM sticker on Miles's notebook. Now, Miles Morales is the son of a police captain. What are they, who has a very good relationship with his father, or at least about as good a one as you're going to get in an American film right now? What does that say that he has that BLM sticker there? What does that mean? That the son of a police captain who gets along with his father would have that sticker on a notebook. Now, you get this whole thing, and I honestly do believe that this is something that has been ginned up by the corporate media and by the show media. And it's this whole thing of Gwen Stacy's storyline being a trans allegory. Now, I know people who have seen this movie, some of whom have liked it, some of them have not. But they've all said the same thing, that aside from those two little things, the BLM sticker and the trans flag in Gwen's room, that there is nothing else that's woke about the movie, or there's not any further messaging past that. But here's something that you have to understand. It's an animated film. It's not in there by accident. So if the movie itself does not discuss either of these things, why is it in the movie? Why is it part of the advertising? Why are they pushing this whole Gwen Stacy is a trans character, issue, whatever, I'm forgetting the word, but why are they pushing that in people's faces if it's not part of the film? What's the point of that? If you advertise your movie with some sort of identity agenda or political agenda messaging, people like me are not going to go see the movie because I don't want to be preached at for 2.5 hours, which is another thing. Why is this movie 2.5 hours long? But that's going to be a story for another day. My issue is with the political messaging in a movie that seemingly does not need it. Why are there people out there who feel the need, these people who claim that they're fighting against labels? Why are you labeling these characters? Well, Gwen Stacy has to be trans. Why? Says who? She's not. She's certainly not in the film, based on everything that I've heard. She's not in any of the comics. Is it really all about representation? Is that the hill that you want to die on? I don't get it. This is the filmmakers shooting themselves in the foot. Because they're I think, using this kind of what I would refer to as a radical group of people. You know? Now, I'm not against trans people. I don't know. I know one person online who is a subscriber to me on multiple platforms, you know, and I know that that individual is not down with the way she would put it. And I refer to her as a woman because this is how this person introduced themselves to me, as a woman. So I think of her as a woman. But I know that she looks at it as being talked down to by Hollywood when they do this sort of thing. You know, this whole ginned up controversy over whether or not Gwen Stacy is a trans character. This is something that was created by the people who made the film. They shot themselves in the foot with this because they advertised the movie this way. You know, put the trans flag in her room, you know, bathe all of her scenes in, um, you know, the trans flag colors. You know, put like a pro trans pin on her father's uniform, even though it doesn't look like that's what it is to me in the shots that I've seen. But okay, you say there's a pin there, there's a pin there, fine. Why is it there? If it has nothing to do with the main plot of the movie, why is it there? Does it move the plot of the film along? Remember when movies were advertised by what the movie itself was actually about? I remember those days. You know, Die Hard. Well, Bruce Willis is a cop who's trapped in a building full of terrorists, and you know he has to save his wife and shoot his way out. Okay, that's what Die Hard is about. You know, Glory. You have a regiment of black soldiers, fighting for the North, who have to, prove themselves and have to deal with the racism that they get from the northern side of things, you know. And then they go out and they become heroes, who are remembered to this day. That's what Glory is about. What is the Eternals about? What's Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse about? I have no fucking idea. Why? Because all they're telling me is, oh, well, this character's gay. This character's black. This character's Asian. This character is Antifa or BLM or something. And now it's like, can't the movie just be a movie? If you're going to advertise, a movie with agenda politics, and then you see the movie and there's no politics anywhere in the film, then what are you doing? And good to see you, Jedi Bill. Glory is a great movie. It is. It absolutely is, and I highly recommend it. A true story with a good message. Now, I don't understand why the filmmakers of Spider-Man chose to advertise their movie this way. I have not seen the Spiderverse movie, and I don't plan to see it. But from what I understand from people I trust who have, you bring up the trans thing. Well, it's a trans allegory. And they say, well, none of that is in the film. Then why was it in the advertising? Why are they trying to push this? Why are they trying to push this quote unquote trans allegory onto a film that is meant primarily for children? That's the creepy thing. I'm a live and let live guy. I'm not coming on here saying I'm against black people or I'm against trans people or anything like that. I'm not. I'm not worried about what anybody does until they directly threaten me in some fashion. Go live your life. Be happy. If you're not happy, don't drag anyone else down with you. Now, again, I just see this as Hollywood and the show media's way of trying to divide us. And hello, Connie. It's their way of trying to make the trans community feel afraid. Try to make black people feel afraid. To make Asians feel afraid. They're trying to divide us. They're trying to dehumanize us. And that's not a good message to send to kids. It's like, why are you talking about this at all? And you have, the people that I refer to as the Twitter bots who are helping the show media push this narrative. Gwen Stacy is not a trans character. If you think so, fine. Go write some fan fiction. And if Hollywood movies are going to be no fucking better than fan fiction, then you know what? Maybe the writers should stay on strike. Because I don't know about anybody in the audience here or anybody's listening to this later, but I'm sick of this trash, man. I have no idea what the Spider-Man movie is about. Why? Because they want to talk about Gwen Stacy being a trans character. Or you've got people who insist that she should be. And why isn't she, damn it? What have you got against us? See? There's the division. Now, I'm somebody who used to love movies. Obviously, you look behind me. But I'm hearing and seeing a lot of crap out of Hollywood. It's like there was a veil that was over my eyes that has now been lifted. These people put messages into these films that are not for everybody's eyes. These are not people to be put up on pedestals. They don't deserve to be there. And they're using film and television and music to put messages out to children they shouldn't be hearing. Oh, you're a little boy who likes to play with dolls. Okay. Oh, well, you're gay. You're really a girl. Oh, you're a girl who likes to play with the Tonka toys and erector sets. Oh, you're trans. You're really a boy. No, she's a tomboy and he's going through a phase. It happens. It's creepy and it's sick. And it's being used to divide us. And if that division if they are really that concerned about dividing us, I gotta wonder why. What do they have planned for us? That they need us sick, frightened, and divided to accomplish. Gwen Stacy is not a trans character. Miles Morales is not Antifa. He's not BLM. He is the son of a police captain who gets along with his father and respects his father. What kind of a message are they trying to send through the advertising of this movie? Because it turned me off to a movie that I wanted to see. And it put out there that this movie had a message that apparently is not in the film. But you have the Twitter bots running around doing your bidding. Because they're pushing this agenda now. Now, I called this episode There's Something About Gwen, which is a play on There's Something About Mary. Or if you want to go darker, There's Something About Amelia. But, what is it about Gwen? Gwen is a young girl who gets to be a superhero in this multiverse. Where there's, a version of the universe where she's quote unquote Spider-Man, or Spider-Girl, Spider-Gwen. Now, and that's it. There is no trans allegory. She's not a trans character. She's always been female. She was born that way, and that's what she is. And that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to do a live action Spider-Gwen movie, go for it. Get Taylor Hickson, just saying. Look her up. I know she's down. Connie's like, I was just as rough as the boys playing football. When I was in kindergarten, fifth grade, first grade, one of my best friends was a young girl. And she would be down there playing in the mud and hanging off of the jungle gym with us. A real tomboy. Now, these days, they would be saying, if she acts like a boy, then she must be a boy. No. It was a phase. And I'm sure she grew out of it. I'm just saying, let's not fall for the ginned up controversies. They attempted to politicize this movie. They probably hurt their box office in some fashion doing it. And it was all unnecessary because it's all stuff that's not in the film. Or at least it's something that's mentioned once and that's it. And if you want me to go see your movie, don't waste my time with this crap. And I don't want them to waste your time. And that's all I really wanted to say. Gwen Stacy is not trans. She never was, never will be. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe she will be in some, depending on who they decide to write the character. But she is, by all accounts, she's not in this film. Even though they're trying to advertise it as such. Okay. Rant over. Moving on to the What's on My Shelf segment. And inspired in part by the booktuber Criminali, who pulls a random book off of his shelf at the end of every video and talks about it. And I got a couple of books here out of a book drop here in town. And those of you who are familiar with the Gray Man movie, or even better yet, the book series that it came from, this is Mission Critical. Court Gentry at it again. Glow popping, taking out bad guys. Hopefully it'll be good. I like the first book. And the other book I have is called The Darkest Heart by Dan Smith. Now, I'm going to do something very interesting, something I don't normally do. I have never heard of this book before I found it. I have not read the inside jacket, so I don't know what the book is about. And I'm not going to until I read it. I'm going to go in blind. knowing nothing about this book or the story or the characters or anything. And I'm going to give this a read and kind of learn what's going on as I read. This is this little thing that I'm going to try and see if that makes it interesting or not. Now, for the movie segment of what's on my shelf, as all of you know, a cold read. Yeah, I'm going to do a cold read. And as you all know, and Jedi Bill is with us in the chat today. I do a show with him called Western Cinema Sunday. And next week, we are going to be watching The Old Way with Nicolas Cage. Now, I don't know if I've brought this movie up on the show before, if I unboxed it or anything. But Bill and I are going to be watching this movie next week. And it's an independent Western. It's the first Western Nicolas Cage has ever been in. And it's kind of along the lines of Unforgiven. He's this kind of infamous gunfighter who puts away his guns, gets married, has a young daughter. His wife is murdered. The daughter has witnessed this death. And it's Cage and his daughter tracking down the bad guys, and she can identify them, and he's going to shoot them. So I'm going to watch this movie this week, in preparation for Bill's show. And when I watch it, I'm going to review it, or I might wait until Bill's show to do my kind of main review. But yeah, look forward to hearing me talking more about this movie this week. Speaking of which, yesterday afternoon after work, I watched Hypnotic, the Robert Rodriguez film, starring Ben Affleck. I've got some thoughts on it, kind of for and against. So I'm going to have a review out for that movie, if not later on tonight, then tomorrow. So look forward to that. All right. So this is the part of the show where I open the floor to questions. So if anybody in the chat has anything that they would like to ask me, now's the time. While you're doing that, I want to remind everybody to stay tuned at the top of the hour for Geeky Geezers over on Aged Boomer's channel. He co-hosts that show with Troy Pacelli. Going to be an interesting show tonight. I know they're going to be talking about the whole censorship situation with the French Connection, among other topics. And speaking of the devil, here's H. Boomer. Hello. Good to see you. That's right. Geeky Geezers will be starting at the top of the hour. And after Geeky Geezers, tonight at about 5 minutes after midnight, I will be back live for episode 6 of The Other Side of Midnight. And I'm going to be sending out the link, the StreamYard's link, to a few people. And hopefully we can get some people in to do some open mic kind of, do an open mic kind of thing, a little chill stream. Connie is asking, what do I think about the new Deadpool? Well, okay, I like the first two movies. I think it's going to be fun having Hugh Jackman back in there. I am concerned if we're going to get like 100 proof Deadpool. Because you have to remember that Deadpool 3 was greenlit while Bob Chapek was still running things at Disney. There's a new administration now. And they're not down too much with R-rated movies. And I'm really concerned that they are going to PG-13 or maybe even PG Deadpool. So, I don't know. I'm being cautiously optimistic about it. I hope it's a good movie. I hope that the filmmakers involved get to make the movie that they want to make. But I'm really concerned about it. Like I said, I hope it's good. I don't know. Rest in peace, Paul Jeffrey, Percival in Excalibur. Yes. Those of you who are fans of Excalibur, the actor who played Sir Percival passed away on June 3rd. His death was announced yesterday. He was 68 years old. He died of cancer, leaving behind a wife and 3 children. He was in Greystoke. He was also in the Pierce Brosnan version of the Thomas Crown Affair. And he also made appearances on Better Call Saul. So he might not have been as well known as some actors, but he had some major credits. And go back and see the films that he was in. He's going to be missed. Yeah. So okay, are there any other questions before we close out the show? Now, one thing I considered talking about tonight was the whole John Campea situation. With the video that he came out with, and and all of that, with the insults, quite frankly, that he threw at his own fans. And if he wants to lose 30,000 subscribers, okay, go ahead. More for the rest of us. I just decided, you know what? I'm not a fan of the guy. I don't subscribe to his channel. I don't like how he treats his fans. I don't like how he treats the people who work for him or who used to work for him. So I decided I'm not going to give him any more time. I was going to spend a whole hour talking about him. I decided, fuck you. I ain't going to do it. I got better things to do. Campea never needed him, never will. No. If he's going through something, if there's something going on in his life, I feel for the situation. If it's a midlife crisis thing, I get it. But you know what? There's time and place, and there's a right way and a wrong way, and there are manners. Stop being a dick. That's going to be my advice to him. Do I have any remakes in my collection? Well, yeah. I have, Magnificent Seven is a remake of Seven Samurai. I have that. I'm sure I have some others up there. Um, I'm trying to think of if I can see one from over here specifically. 310 to Yuma. I have both versions of that. Um, so yeah, I have several remakes. Um, and I'm for remakes if they're done well. Um, but I don't always think that they're necessary. Um, I like the remake of Assault on Precinct 13. Does it hold a candle to the original movie? No, but it's good for what it is. Um, so those are a few remakes that I have. Want to join me in Wolf 10 Media July 1st for Cloverfield? Troy and Heather are away that weekend. Yes. If I am, I don't know what day the first is. I'll have. Let me see. I got a calendar right here. Uh, let me see. What day is the first? It's a Saturday. Yeah, I should be able to make that. I should be able to make that date work. So yeah, I would be down for that. Cloverfield, fun kind of kaiju movie. It's kind of like Godzilla meets Blair Witch. It's I definitely have some things to say about the Cloverfield movie. So yeah, I'm count me in. Saturday at 10 p.m. All right. So guys, you heard it here first. Um, July 1st, Saturday, 10 o'clock. Films with Friends, Big Al and Wolf 10 Media and I, Cloverfield. It's all right. That's going to be the Kai July, which is also going to include Reptilicus. I know is going to be another movie that's going to be that Big Al's going to be playing, and I'm looking forward to that because that's going to be fun. Yeah, so I like a good kaiju movie as much as the next guy, so I'm totally down for that. I'll be there. Um, all right. Anything else before we wrap it up? And War of the Gargantuous. Right on. Right on. Cool. All righty. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. Those of you who were lurking or who are going to be watching the replay, thank you very much. Hit the like. Say hello in the comments. Share out the stream. If you are new to the channel, this is a weekly show every Sunday night at 8. And I have movie reviews. I have reviews up right now for Sisu, Consecration. I'm going to have one up very soon about Hypnotic. Let's see what else. I have The Other Side of Midnight coming up at 12:05. For those of you who are in the chat now, we have Lady Mist, Connie Cleary, Dee Penzak, Big Al Presents, Jack Lumen, Aged Boomer. Let me scroll up. Jedi Bill, the lovely Sherry. All righty. I'd like to thank all of you for being here tonight. It was a good show. I know it's a subject I really didn't want to. I was hoping I didn't want to have to go into, but I had a few words I had to say. Okay. That's the show for tonight. Thank you all very much for being here. Gwen Stacy is not trans. Miles Morales is not Antifa and also not Spider-Man. So I'll throw that 2 cents in there. From HQ, good night. Take care. Stay strong, because this is how we win. Good night.